Look at him. Just dickered. Just dickered, boys. Son of a bitch.
Yo, yo. Class A, and macro. Not connected, not elected to participate. Bouncing down the stems will make your head hurt. Enjoy the take.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Take a Ride. This is episode 271. It's Monday, May the 27th. Hopefully your weekend was awesome. Mine was pretty good. I picked up Viv from the airport. She got rerouted, and we had to kill a lot of time, me and Tay. And Tay did pretty good for being 4 years old and not having, many toys and just running around the airport. He did a really good job. We went to kill some time. We were trying to find some food, and we found a lot of cosplayers. Is that how you say it? Cosplayers walking on the street by the airport. So we had like 4 hours to kill. So I found out where this anime convention was happening, and we just parked and like walked around, and it was weird. I felt like it was how people at our shows feel who don't go to shows. It's so different. It's so I don't know, you feel out of place. Everyone was dressed up, and then there was Tay and I, and we were like dressed up nicely for Viv, walking around, standing out like sore thumbs. It was pretty fascinating. I was hoping to find a Mega Man, because me and Tay have been playing Mega Man X, and we didn't find one. Nobody was dressed up like Mega Man. A lot of anime characters that I don't know who the hell they are. But anyways, that was my weekend. Hopefully your weekend was great. Hopefully it was fun. This will be a good way to start it off. These episodes are not free for me to do, so that I'm just segueing into the sponsors. I have people who are on board to help me get the show to you guys. They don't have to do this, but I appreciate that they do. So you can follow them on Instagram, on Facebook, order their products. They really do help me out, and it means a lot that they trust me to place ads. So let me just bang these out. I have the first off is a pet treat company, Brewed Biscuits, all natural spent grain pet treats. Spent grains are the oats and barley that a brewer will use. They steep it in hot water to remove the sugars, and that's the wort that they use. And these quote-unquote spent grains, this company has been able to use them to turn them into pet treats. The leftover grains are 20% protein, 70% dietary fiber. Good for puppies and old dogs. It's all natural ingredients. There's no alcohol or hops or corn or salt or sugar or additives or any preservatives. 100% natural. Ocho loves these treats. They have the peanut butter, pumpkin sweet potato, and apple cinnamon. So you guys can grab those at twospentgrains.ca. What else can I say about them? You can find them online. I have some with me. If people are interested in grabbing some off of me, you can just hit me up. Next up, just 1 second here. Yeah, next up is did I say the website? Yeah, twospentgrains.ca, TWOspentgrains.ca. Next, we have Heartbeat Hot Sauce. I have a whole shit ton of these with me. So if you want to try this hot sauce that I've been ranting about for, a year maybe? No. How long have they been on? A while. I have some on me. This hot sauce is the best hot sauce I've ever had. It is delicious. It's not burn your asshole hot. It's not hot for being hot. I find some hot sauces are just that. They're rude. It's just no flavor. It's just I don't know. I don't understand it, actually. This hot sauce is so good. They have the red habanero, which was my introduction to them, and it might be the best hot sauce you've ever had. So I don't really know how else to sell it to you guys, but you can go to heartbeathotsauce.com, find out where he's selling online and in stores that are across Canada. So if you're listening and you're in Vancouver, I think there's probably some in some stores out there. If not, you can order online. Just go to heartbeathotsauce.com. And again, if you're in Cambridge, Guelph, whatever, I have a bunch on me. I have some red habaneros, the blueberry habanero, and the jalapenos. So hit me up. Find them on Instagram, all that stuff. Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota is the next one. Kevin Rigo, he's my good friend. He's like one of the first friends that I made in Cambridge. And he's a car salesman, and he believes in this show. He places the ads so you guys might be able to go buy a car from him. If you or your mom or your dad or anyone you know is looking for a car salesman that you can trust, go see Rigo. He's at 3121 King Street East in Kitchener at Hefner Toyota. Mention the show and you'll get special pricing on new vehicles. All love to Kevin. Ironclad Graphics are the company that made my shirts. They also made my patches that I have and my pins. They do stickers. They do everything. If you need someone to make some merch for you, go to ironcladgraphics.com and check out what they have. They do everything. They've been doing it for a long time too. What else can I say? Ironcladgraphics.com. Last couple here. Dapper Beard Oil is a beard oil company from Ottawa. It's my buddy Andrew running it. It's a great beard oil. It helps hydrate. It helps repair your beard. It's antibacterial. It's all 100% ethically sourced. It's a good beard oil. It's really cool. I've been mentioning this, that Andrew he's like a photographer, skateboarder, entrepreneur. He is an artist, 100%, really is. And he takes care in presenting his business as professional, and the product he has is fantastic. So if you want to save some shipping, use Taker Wide Free Ship, and you'll save on the shipping. And you can find them at dapperbeardoil.com. And lastly, we have Wellington Brewery, Canada's oldest independently owned microbrewery. I'm sipping on the Hell's Lager. They're delicious. They craft award-winning beers in small batches using the freshest all-natural ingredients. They're really good. It's a really good beer. I feel this might be complete horseshit, but I can have a bunch of them and not be crazy hungover. So I don't know if that's a sign of a good beer. These guys are good beers. They're delicious beers. A lot of you guys probably have tried it. If not, try them. Wellington Brewery. WellingtonBrewery.ca. So those are all the sponsors. And so yeah, this episode's with John Judkins. John is I met John 2010 or something. BPX did a tour and we played this Mutants of the Monster Fest in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I don't fucking even remember how it came to be, but John is a rad guy, and it's funny, like I met him, and then when Mark was touring with like FTF, those guys met, and it was like, oh, I know Steve, and yada yada. So eventually you just meet everybody, I think. If you play music long enough, he plays in, and let me get this wrong, Rwake, it's that Rwake, Rwake. I can never say it right. He does some stuff with Scott Kelly too. Him and Scott Kelly released some music, and he's in a million other bands. But we're going to talk about music, and I'm happy he could do this. He's a busy guy. So, yeah, this is 271 with John.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking me to do it.
No, it's like I've been doing this podcast for like fucking 6 years next month, I think. And,
oh, wow.
And like when you think of all the people you meet doing music, it's kind of like endless the amount of people I've met, like you being one of them.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure the list is it adds, it's exponential too, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
it just
even
keeps going.
Yeah, even like, you knew Mark, or you know Mark a little bit, and that silly photo I sent a long time ago of you guys high-fiving and shit.
Yeah, that's still our personal go-to joke, man. You've connected us even further.
It's crazy, man. There probably will be like little delays because my Facebook Messenger is a little slow, but you look fine and I can hear you fine now, so I think we're okay.
Yeah, great, man.
Cool, man. So, dude, like, fuck, I was thinking, I think it was like 2010 or 11 or 12 or something we met at that fest down in Little Rock. I think that's right, though. What year was that?
Yeah.
2012, I think, or 11.
Well, we probably met without meeting or maybe remembering whenever I did, because Today's the Day played with the Great Sabatini.
Oh, shit.
In 2000, 2008, and we stayed at someone's house. I don't remember whose house we stayed at.
That's crazy.
But
probably stayed at Shawnee's house, and that was with their other drummer, because I remember that poster.
All right.
Was that when you guys were doing like the film, and you had like lights to cue parts of the set or something, or no?
No, that was 2010. I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Did we do Canada during that tour?
I don't
Because
know.
that was 2010. I don't know if we did. It was kind of a short run, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. Because I remember I bought like the Great Sabatini Colonel Sanders shirt,
Oh, yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah. With the horns.
pentagram in his forehead. Yeah, I still wear that Joker, man, all the time. But yeah, so then I guess I didn't meet you. Yeah, yeah, I met you at the Mutants of the Monster Fest,
Yep. Yeah, that was
and
cool, man. That was cool. Who are you playing with that day? I don't remember. It wasn't Rake, was it?
no, that was a Laser Flames on the
That's
Great
right.
Big News.
That's right.
Yeah, and you were at the Big One, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that was awesome, man.
that
We
was
were
awesome.
we were stoked. We were that those shows in Little Rock, man, they're always a blast. I don't know if that's the only time you've played there, but just the respect that community has for the heavy stuff down there, it's just unparalleled
I
in the South, honestly.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, the South it's like, I don't know if you've ever been to the East Coast of Canada, but it's kind of the same. Different accents, but like really nice people
Yeah.
who support the scene. But it's even funny, even out east there is like a maritime accent for sure that we make up. The South has always been good to me though, man. Like you're in Nashville, right? No.
Yeah, yeah, in Nashville. I've had I'm from McMinnville, which is about 30, 40 minutes east. Yeah, more than that actually, about an hour east of Nashville.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I'm in Nashville, man. But a lot Nashville has kind of become the city where maybe half of the people here aren't from here anymore.
Ah,
So yeah, so it's good and bad. There's pluses and minuses, but the scene here, it's always been, um, I don't know, man, hit or miss. There's so many, and I know a lot of cities that have a lot of culture and things. They have a lot of musicians and stuff. So pretty much at every show, like half of the people at the show are in a band,
totally.
and they're easily like either like judging you or saying in their mind like I can do better than this, or jealous or something. It's so weird. I hate to say that like that because I have so many friends that I love and
Yeah.
respect and play shows with and stuff, but it really is a competitive scene. So and any night there could be 5 or 6 amazing shows of all different genres going on. So it's hard to have a cohesive narrative, especially when it comes to heavy stuff. To have such a culture, but as I was saying with like Little Rock, for instance, man, there's 3, 4, 5 bands that have been together for 1 to 2 decades.
Wow.
And they've spawned so many other bands, and everybody helps each other out down there. It's so close knit. So those festivals, man, are just such a joy, man. I don't think I can give any more hugs or high fives or handshakes and
Yeah.
say the word brother more than anything than when I go down to Little Rock.
It was very cool for us being I think that was our first or second US tour, and to be part of like a fest like that with like such rad bands, and we got a pretty rad slot too, and that's kind of an annoying stereotype that a lot of the South gets, like, or even the States, people who don't go to the States, like there's a bad stereotype that some people have, but people couldn't have been nicer, and even like being Muskie's Ojibwe, and like I'm like a brown Latin guy, like there was no issue. There was like
no,
no.
no, and it's also kind of like the metal. Metal can get a bad rap from outside perspectives, but I mean, there's not a more loyal fan base. There's not a more loyal. Bands are so loyal to each other and stuff, and nicest people on the planet,
Totally,
when you get down to it. And Little Rock is a beacon in the South for some of this stuff, for the heavy stuff. I'm glad you guys had a good reception down there.
It was
CT and Jeff and that whole crew.
It was really great. It was really
Go
great
ahead,
because I did Little Rock once before in another band in like '07 or '06 or something like that, and we played a house show, and it was fucking intense because it was like it was and I've talked about this before. Like the show we played was, we were walking around this house, super sketchy house, and there was like white power CDs, and like the one band was like a super racist band.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was like, that was my one time before. So when I went back to Little Rock, I was super nervous. But man, it was like the complete opposite of that for sure. And like,
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
I've done shows like that everywhere. You know, there's always sketchy places everywhere. But I'm glad that last Little Rock one was such a like, okay, yeah, I can come back here and totally not have an issue. It was fine.
Yeah. Our first time in Little Rock was kind of similar, and it was. I think I was like 17 years old or something, and I was in this old school like death metal band. I guess you call it old school death metal, but at the time it was
current school.
It was current school. Yeah, it was like 96, 97, and the band called Denial of Grace, and they had Rwake and bands in Nashville and Little Rock. We were swapping shows back and forth, and Rwake was just kind of on the scene at that point. So we played a show together at Lucy's record shop in Nashville, which is now long gone, but it was it was a place for like Solent Green, I Hate God, Mastodon played there for like 5 people, that sort of thing. Very cool, all ages place. It broke a lot of people's minds for rock and roll in Nashville for sure. But we played with Rwake, and they were like, "Oh man, we'll set your show up in Little Rock. We can't play, but we'll put a awesome band on." We ended up playing with Six Shine, I think, in a place that was just kind of out in nowhere. I think it's called Old Man Kirk's. It's just a big all ages venue, but it was like a felt like it was a greenhouse, It was awesome. It was awesome there. But the HBO documentary "Banging in Little Rock" it just came out.
Okay.
And we were all kind of like sketched out on that. You watch that, and it's kind of, you don't know what to do. You're young, you're out of town kind of for the first time and stuff, and we got a hotel in kind of like a not a good part of town, So after the show, we went back to the hotel, and I think we slept for like an hour or two, and then we're like, fuck this,
Really?
There's gunshots and stuff going on,
Fuck.
and all you can think of is like the banging in Little Rock, the big gang fights and gang wars that HBO documented, but
Yeah.
we didn't know. We just seen it on TV, and it's our first time, so we played our show, went to the hotel for 2 hours, and then said, fuck this,
I love it though,
But-
man. Everyone has a story, especially as we're getting older, and that like when you're young and first doing it, and that sort of looking back, like playing like metal and stuff, you get to play such shitty venues in such shitty areas that like it's a common thread of we were just we're just trying to play our music, and we have to deal with all this extra shit, which still to this day you still deal with. But I don't know, I just feel, I have a kid now. I have a 4-year-old son, and picturing him in like some of the scenarios I've been in or that you've been in is so terrifying. Like, I want him to do it, but I don't.
Yeah, it's like riding a bike and falling over. It's like, kids are going to be fine when you see other kids, but when it's your kid, you're like, oh shit. But kids are so fucking resilient. It's just some of that naivety, just being, we had a issue. I think I was 15. I had an older brother. He's about 8 years older than me, and he was, sort of, pretty much raised me, was the male influence in my life, and he was a drummer, and he wanted me to play guitar just so he could practice drums, and he so he was like, learn this song, and I would sit down and learn "To Live Is to Die" by Metallica, because it was real simple, 2-3 frets in the first part, but he would always took care of me. But we would play these shows once we got a band going. I was in this band with everybody that was like 7-8 years older than me, and I was maybe 13 or something at the time, but we had a show in Bristol, Tennessee, which is like East Tennessee, and it can get kind of rough out there as far as white supremacy stuff, or super redneck folks, and of course we all grew up around redneck folks, but like these people had had little groups together for themselves, so we had a show booked on like a Friday night, and we get down there, and they said, no, it was for Saturday night, and they said, "Man, you're supposed to play last night." Like, this is before the internet. This is, you kind of maybe send letters back and forth about booking shows, and like, you were supposed to play last night, so tonight we've got a different show. You're more than welcome to play it if you want. And we're like, sure, and so we play it, and it's, we're death metal, but we get in there, and they're like, you go on first. And so we set up, dude, and we realized it's like halfway through the set, we realized it's a fucking like white power party. And fuck. We're like, yeah, and you've got all these big skinhead dudes just fucking, oi, 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 bushwhacking in the mosh pit and stuff. And it's fucking weird. Like, we realized that, we played our shit, and we got the fuck out of there, man, I was like 13. I was like, what's going on? And everyone's like, yeah, dude, these are skinheads. We got to get out of here. Like, we don't want any part of what's going to happen after this, It's like you said, it's fucked up, man. The shit that you do, especially before internet, you just show up and either you become best buddies with the band or shit's not right and you roll out,
Yeah, man.
I'll never forget that. I think one of them stomped my death metal pedal or something and crushed it, my boss pedal or something. I was like, hey, okay. Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, fuck. Oh my God. It's that ignorance, which is kind of, I think you need when you're starting out and playing gigs out and about. Like, you don't know any better, but you just want to do it. I really think that those sort of moments are really, I don't know, shaped your decision to keep doing it. Because like, we're older, and I hate saying that I'm old. I'm not old, but I'm not 20, and I'm still playing music. Yeah. But there's people who stop for whatever reason, and it could be just like, you're young, you play some sketchy show like that, and you're like, fuck this. We didn't get paid. Played to a bunch of skinheads. Like, I'm tired. I'm hungry.
Yeah, right. I'll never do this again. When you're older, you're like, I'll never do this again. But you're younger. You're just dumb enough to push through.
Yeah.
And it's just another story.
Have you, like, because you've been playing music for how old are you now, John? If I can ask.
I'm 39.
39. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, you've been playing for a long time. Do you ever have a moment, like a low musical career moment, where you might have been like, I might be done with this, or not? I don't know. Have you been tested by life to like want to quit?
Man, yeah. Honestly, the last couple of years have been, I don't want to say difficult. Difficult's relative to everybody, but so I own a business. Yeah. In Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is right outside of Nashville. And it's like a college town, sort of little place. Cool city. I went to school there, lived there for, several years of my life. But I own a record store, and, we video games, and we have live music in there and everything. But it's taken up so much. It takes up a lot of energy. You're never not thinking about it. It's nonstop. The emails never stop. The phone calls never stop, and it's kind of slowed me down a little bit. It's sliced my brain up, making me think up. Usually you go through life kind of letting creativity motivate you, and kind of tying up the business loose ends after you've done creative things. This has like flipped me into, okay, I got to think about how. Pay my rent, pay my employees, order new stock. And then at the same time, I'm booking bands, we've got, it's a venue as well. So I'm having to make those decisions and deal with that. So it's really put me into a music as when someone calls me for a gig, or let me know that we've got a tour, or let me know that there's some studio stuff, like it's put me in that spot where I have to really, really motivate myself to go into the jam room and just plug in and tune out everything. And that's hard, I kind of feel that. I feel like it's a lull right now, but I keep, every day I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go jam today, or I'm gonna go this, I'm gonna go call my friend or whatever, and so that's I feel like that's kind of happening now.
I hear you. Like I said, I have a kid, and honestly, I'm still motivated to do it, but I've been more motivated before. I just don't have the time. I hear you 100%. This thing, is it like, did you see this is this like, did you expect this, or is this a surprise to have this sort of like much of you sucked out? Because music's important, but I don't know. Is this a byproduct that you saw coming with the new business?
It was kind of 50-50 in a way. This business I had worked at for, 15 years on and off, 13, 14 years on and off. And the owner, we were like family together. The owner decided to retire. He's getting older and just didn't want to fool with it anymore. And I'd just gotten back from a tour, and he was like, well, I'm going to close down the shop. And I was like, oh shit, I just got back from this tour, and I'm just, now I've got time on my hands, but I still need a job that will allow me to tour when the time comes up. And this job has always allowed me that. So if I could take it over as owner and get a good, crew in place, and that would allow me to continue to do that. And which it does. That's the thing, is it still allows me to be free and take time off. And I work from home some days, just to answer emails and pay bills and stuff like that. So it was kind of a plan in a way, and my wife and I kind of came up with, just because I know the business so well from working there for years. But you don't know until you get in there and you're trying to there are those days when it's just amazing. Customers come in, and we have real great customer service, real fine employees, and good folks that shop with us. But there are those days, man, you just can't get anybody into a brick and mortar some days. So there's those months when they drag and it stresses you out, and you get all the way to that end of the month, and you get rent off, and then you have like 1 or 2 days of thinking, okay, cool, I don't have to worry about this right now. Let me enjoy myself for a couple of days. And then it's like another 28 days of just feeling like pushing the boulder up the hill, But yeah, it was a choice, and I definitely don't regret the choice, but it's definitely, I'm juggling several things. And when I see what other folks do, man, like people that play in bands, run labels, book tours and have kids and shit, I'm like, how do you do it?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
Yeah. Well, it's I think, I don't know how many of people who play music made a plan for their 30s and 40s and what they're gonna do and skills.
Right.
I don't know what the percentage is. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm gonna do really for cash. I'm still figuring it out. But it is a real fear to like lose the ability to do it. Now, like you play and you perform, like, do you worry about not being able to, like, would you feel fulfilled just writing music, or do you kind of need to tour, and not even so much tour, just play live? Because that's kind of at risk, right? Your time, you could still write at home, but that's an extra step to get out there too.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I think I just went on long-winded question. I don't even know if I answered.
No. I think that with the touring, sometimes you can take it or leave it, as far as just some of the stress and struggles and things like that. But I mean, that 30 minutes to hour or 2 hours that you're on stage is, to me, it's meditation. It's like the easiest form to plug in to just for a release, where you're mindless for a little bit and you're just not thinking about anything but that moment. And so that kind of makes it worth it, But I don't know if I'm completely built for the 150 to 200 plus shows a year, that would need to happen to make the money necessary to make it worth it. That's, unless you're like a boutique band or something, where you can get away with playing festivals and kind of doing 1 and 2 week tours around these big festivals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And even then still, you can't really, you don't really keep yourself funded for the whole year. So you're right, man. It's tough. A lot of folks, don't plan on it. When you're in your 20s, things are grooving. You're knocking it out. You're getting the adrenaline rush from the shows and the tours and the friendships you're making and the writing and everything. And and then when it starts to kind of level out, you go, oh, what am I doing here? That's why
Yeah.
you see a lot of the successful people are the ones that have been able to make it work. Like either start a studio or
Yeah.
start a booking company. That's how they transition into that, because they're capitalizing on all the work, the byproduct of the touring when they were younger.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally, man. There's I feel like when you're young, you don't like me. I have to speak for myself, where I had a certain vision of what it would be like to be in a band and what the end result would kind of be, and then you realize that it's really hard to make money being in a band. But there are those avenues for sure. Like even like this podcast, it's not doesn't make me really any money, but it's some weird little thing that's attached to music that potentially maybe could help a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to stop making music, but it makes it harder and harder when like adult bills come up, like
Yeah.
mortgage
Yeah.
and stuff. Like, fuck. I don't know. Do you like at this point? Like, I think if you're 39 and still playing, you're probably not going to stop, right? But are you fulfilled musically? Is there still a lot of more things you want to do, or like as a musician, how do you like perceive yourself? Are you content? Do you still have lots to express? I don't know.
I'm absolutely not content. I have a lot more I want to do. I really, I have I want to do some solo stuff as far as that's concerned. Some acoustic things. I want to kind of in Nashville. There's just a lot of side players and auxiliary guys and stuff like that. And I always when I go to a show, that's who I kind of look at. For like inspiration. When I see these guys who have played with this band and also have done this band, but also do a solo thing and that sort of stuff, and kind of like a multi-tool, and I want to explore that, in that way. I've been fortunate to fill in for some cool bands here and there, and I've been fortunate to join bands and tour with bands and kind of have a wide spectrum of styles and genres that I enjoy playing with, and so in a perfect world for me would be to be able to kind of be that guy, kind of a session guy, to pick up 2 weeks here to go out here and then do a few shows around town, and then pick up 2 weeks to go over here and then record an album with somebody, record an album for myself, and that's kind of a perfect world for me. It's just with the business that I'm running, it does slow me down.
Yeah.
I'm pretty hard on myself as far as whenever I'm doing something that I enjoy, at home, there's always like that percentage in the back of my head saying, well, you need to be working on the business. You need to be looking at numbers or orders, or you got a few emails pop up while you're in here, and it just kind of nags at me. So it keeps me from being completely released to it, and being in that spot where you look up and it's 3 a.m. and you've been playing guitar for 6 hours. You didn't realize it, like the days when it used to be, where you would just go and go and go. So now it's like every 45 minutes, an hour, I look at my phone and go, I got to respond to this guy, or look at sales. Oh, sales aren't so good today. I need to text my employee and see what's going on. So that sucks. I love it. It's no complaints, but it's just reality for me at this moment.
Yeah. It's kind of not amazing, but it's like added stress that you also throw shows at the store. Like, it's commendable, but it's
sometimes. Yeah.
I saw you had those Life in Vacuum guys there recently.
Yeah, they ruled, man.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. They're from like next door, basically, up here.
Right.
Yeah.
That was, and that's the thing, is I get to work with, when I do that, I get to work with those bands, and I get to show them, I try to treat them right, and that's, you try to do that anywhere, and I think a lot of venues forget that, and so we have a modest sound system and a modest room. It's a record store, and modest light setup, but we try to make touring bands feel well, with some free beers and, early shows, and you treat them right, ask them
Early
what they
shows.
need. And you don't get that a lot of places,
Oh my God.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're over by 9 every night, man.
Oh.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I wish
But
that
the shows aren't so stressful that.
Huh.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. They're not super stressful. You're saying the shows?
The shows, well, I've had a couple of little bad apples, but most of the time people are great. Bands are great. The customers there respect the place, and it helps. It's like we close at 6 p.m. when we're not having a show, and so every hour that's not open, it's like I'm paying a storage unit fee for all my product, So if you have shows in there, you have people coming in and frequenting, a band, like Life and Vacuum, who might have some fans in the area, never had been in my store before, so they come in and see see my store and go, oh shit, didn't know it was here. And then they get to watch their friend's band, maybe buy a beer, buy some records, buy some video games, buy some merch, that sort of stuff. And vice versa, some of my typical customers will come in and be like, oh, there's a show tonight, and then they'll hang out and they'll find a new band they never would have heard of. So
that's cool, man.
It works out good, and I'm usually, it's kind of in my wheelhouse too, talking with folks and doing that part of it. It's just the leading up to it, the promotion, and making sure that everyone is on the same page as far as date, time, getting other local bands on the bill. That's where it gets in the weeds. But day of is,
Yeah. Sorry, my computer just took a little shit. It's in a time, I think, when like streaming and digital and high quality YouTube videos. I wonder the new fan who's, I don't know, 12 or 10 or 13. How much it means to them, or how much they realize that a band like Life and Vacuum on tour in this cool record store, like how important that is, how much work is involved in it, how it's important for the band to like make a little bit of money, because it's hard to, you probably know better than anyone as far as running a store, like streaming versus physical copies. It's a real different climate right now. And I hope that you would hope that a kid like that would go to a show and realize like, oh, this is amazing, I want to start a band, or just for the band itself to have someone buy their fucking vinyl, like that'd be awesome, right? That's still important.
Oh, absolutely. And the reason, I mentioned earlier in the interview that Lucy's record shop in Nashville was all ages, and I was probably 14 years old or something, 13, 14, 15 when I was playing there. And I volunteer for a lot of kids music programs over the summer too. I don't do it as much, but I used to. And then doing the shows, all ages shows here, I just see how important it is to offer that to kids,
Well, even
it changed my life, changed my life. I hope it changes theirs too, in a positive way.
I think also like an all ages space that's safe, that a parent can feel good dropping their kid off is, I don't know, rare, but like I haven't really done all ages shows for a minute, but I don't know who's doing all ages shows. And an all age type venue, like I feel like they're kind of rare, maybe not, I don't know.
I think they are, and I think they are rare, especially for certain genres of music too. To have an all ages venue that does black metal shows or stuff like that. You can probably find all kinds of all ages venues that does punk pop or EDM or something like that. But to kind of run the gamut and offer all genres, all ages, all styles, all people. It's important, and it's oddly enough, it is rare.
Yeah. I was gonna ask just about writing, like as far as a creative person, like you're kind of spread thin, but do you have like sort of a tried and tested method to get your creativity out, like, or does it just when it hits you, you grab a guitar, or I don't know? Because as a drummer, I don't really write, so I'm always fascinated by like songwriters or someone who does that.
I've when it comes to being at home alone with an acoustic or electric, sometimes you feel a pull to just do like, something's pulling you, tugging you to pick a guitar up and go for it. Kind of like the same as like, if you have like a sweet tooth or something, sometimes you're just like, God, my body is craving chocolate right now. Like, I don't know why, but like, I'm going to eat it, or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it is with riffs, I'll pick it up and write a riff. And sometimes it's funny. It's when I'm out of my normal headspace, like when I kind of have a cold, either a cold is coming on or a cold is going away. I don't know. I don't know. That's when I can kind of come up with some melodies and lyrics and things. I think it just disconnects me from the observer and the judge that we all have inside of us. It kind of gets rid of that. But being so far away from like bands at the moment, like all the bands that I tour with right now or that I play music with are pretty much either one-offs or studio or tour based, where you don't do much until, hey, it's tours in July, let's get together last couple of weeks of June. That's when you get together. But I'm starting to realize, being disconnected from that like weekly jam that you have with your buddies, like that's where I get a lot of writing inspiration. Just being in a room and having the drummer, you just kind of goofing on a riff or something, and then having the drummer put a lick to it, and then you hear something that was accidental, and then you're both like, oh yeah, do that again. And then the other guitar player, the bassist, slides in with something, and then that's when things just kind of go fire for me in reality. So I haven't had that in a little bit, so I see that that's a thing now, and it complements. It would then complement the, hey, go home, put on some headphones, and pick up your guitar. Like that's when that complements, because you've recorded that idea with your group, your bands, and then you can start to layer it and copy, chop, put some vocals over it, and then that's where it builds, you know what I mean? And then you take it back to everybody, and then the process gets refined. So that's what I'm noticing, the two different things, different ways, just sitting at home, bring it to everybody, or go to the room and just kind of knock it out,
So is it
just freestyle it for a minute?
Yeah. Is it, I don't know, if you're doing your own sort of solo stuff, how do you, it's kind of a vague question, but if it's your own type of stuff, you really just have to trust yourself. You can't bounce it off your bandmates. Do you do like demos to your wife or something, as far as like feedback, or like how do you bounce ideas off of? You just trust yourself, or what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, that's that's tough, because I haven't honestly haven't let anyone hear any of the solo stuff. I've let my wife hear one or two songs, but and she loves it. She's she enjoys it. But yeah, I'm real. It's funny, man. I haven't put it out there. I think there'll be a time when I have a lot of stuff put together. It's cleaned up. It's ready for presentation, and then I think I'll just kind of drop it. But I haven't let anybody hear anything. Zero, really. Yeah.
Well, that's fucking exciting though, too. At the same time.
Yeah. It's probably more of me just like worried about it, sucking and getting like that, like negative feedback or something. Which I mean, in reality, like, who gives a fuck? But in my head, you overthink it, man. You can overthink it so much.
Oh man, well, it's a solo band type thing is so vulnerable. It's so exposed. Like, it's like, this is me. Like, it's not even like behind a band name. I don't know. Some people do that, but usually I think a solo artist is just their name. It's yeah.
And the stuff I do with with Scott, I have that ability because he lays, his voice and his, the chords and stuff just lays a foundation for me to be able to experiment and kind of, rise in with some notes and fade back and kind of swell and go in and out with that stuff. And it's a really comfortable place for me. And then when I think about me doing that on my own and being bare like that, like the way Scott just kind of bears himself out there. Scott Kelly of Neurosis, by the way, I'm just saying Scott, like
people are like, what's he talking about? But yeah,
it's Scott. So his, I don't want to say courage, but his ability just to do that and expose himself in that way after being in such a, Neurosis is just nothing, just a wall of heavy, loud, quiet emotion. Like it's just a tidal wave, a fire, and calm at the same time, all in the same package. And then just to strip all that away and just go with his acoustic and a voice, and then an accompanying guitarist or whoever he brings with him. It just takes a lot.
Oh my God.
Guts, to totally do that. And so I see, when I think about doing that for myself, man, I just get like, oh, fuck. I have to drink a half bottle of whiskey to do this or something, It's not a way to be,
Wow.
But
do you
think? I always respect that.
Do you how long have you been sitting on your own stuff? When do you think it'll come out? Like, what would it take for it to come out? Just like polishing it, or like I don't know how, like, if you have like fucking 2 LPs worth of stuff, double LP, or what your plan is.
No, I mean, you know how it is, with, you're like you said, you're drumming, so you're not writing the riffs really, but most guitarists and band members have, boxes full of old 4-track cassettes with riffs on them, or hard drive with 72 folders on and on the desktop or whatever. So I've got a lot of that stuff, but as far as like solid, almost complete songs, I probably do have an album full of that just needs to be either done here, kind of, just home studio style, or I've got a really good friend who's got a nice studio that I record with bands, and just going with him, and that'd probably be the best way to do it, because he would be there to kind of push it along and get me out of the double thinking. Because when you sit at home and you're questioning every move you make from time to time, it's good to have a independent ear there saying, "Oh, that was good. That was a good take," or let's move away from this right now because I don't think you're feeling it. So I think that's what it would take to do that, is send him the demos and move in that direction, and disconnect myself from the, like I said, the always running narrative inside the head, or the judge that's always trying to direct you.
Where do you think that comes from, man? I think a lot of people have that. I think if you really care about what you're doing, you should have that voice in your head. But it's maybe too critical sometimes. I wonder.
I don't know, man. I mean, some people don't. I think it's, I don't know. For me, it feels like age. It feels like being more aware of other people's opinions, being empathetic to folks. Sometimes makes you go, well, I hope this doesn't waste anyone's time, and it's such a, like that, and that's kind of a sickness in my mind sometimes. I worry about other folks that shit more than I do just kind of saying fuck it, and that's something I have to break out of.
I think that is a sign of, you don't want to waste somebody's time, and there's like a humbleness to it, that it's like, who am I? Like, that's why I feel like, let's talk about this, at least the podcast. It's always like, why would anyone want to listen to what I'm thinking about and stuff like that. And it kind of attaches to music
Right.
too. It's like, why am I so special that? But you know, like I respect what you're doing. That's why I want you on. You know, there's people. It's hard to view yourself through other people's eyes.
Right.
So maybe that's so interesting. I've never thought of it as like an empathy type thing, but it is. You don't want to waste someone's time.
Yeah. And that's another thing, man. Anytime, so whenever I'm touring, I'm always way more at ease on the road. You know, you get out, you play, you have fun, you say hey, get in the car, you know, take off, and move on. Who cares? You know, then you had fun, you moved on, you did what you're supposed to do, you go to the next city. But when the tour comes to Nashville, you know, whether it's beginning, middle, end, doesn't matter how tight we are, how whatever, I'm always the most nervous in Nashville. And I rarely, you know, like I don't want, you know, like, hey, come on after the show, you know, it's like I feel like,
Don't come.
yeah, maybe you don't want to.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to fuck up in front of you, or like I don't want you to feel like because you're my friend or family member that you feel like obligated to come to a show that you don't care for, and that's kind of what I think. And so there are those times when like people were like, "Dude, you're playing in Nashville tonight. Why didn't you tell me?" And I was like, I just didn't want to bother you about it. You know?
Man.
So
Fuck.
it's so silly, man. It's stupid.
Well, you know, it's better than the opposite, though, where someone who thinks they're the shit, you know? A musician who has a big head is so disgusting.
Yeah, and that's where the naivety comes in when you're like 25 and 26 and you're like, fuck it, dude, we're the fucking best band. Here's what we're going to do. Fuck it, conquer, you know, we're going to rule everything sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wanted to ask just...
But it's something, man. It's something I got to go with.
Just how did it come to be, like, you and Scott playing together?
So CT, a singer of Wake, he books. He's like the main guy. He's the main go-to guy in Little Rock, and he also just does a lot of stuff in the South and Southeast in general. And he was booking Scott, but he wanted to put Scott. You know, it's hard to fit him on a bill in the U.S. Oddly enough, in Europe there's a lot more. In Europe, it's a bit more like, hey, he's a performing artist. Even if we don't know who Neurosis is, we still respect this performing artist from Nashville who's got a story to tell. And in U.S., it's a little different. It really is. You got to, you know, work it out right where you have the right artist opening and where it fits right and you get the right amount of people in the door. But so CT was trying to get some of his favorite bands in the area in every town to open for Scott in their city, and then like do a double. Like, say for us, it would have been CT was wanting like Laser Flames on the Great Big News to do an acoustic set with Scott.
Okay.
And then ride down to Memphis and double up, or ride down to Little Rock and double up there. And then Scott will move on to say St. Louis, or he would go to New Orleans, and then CT would have another act that would double up shows with him to kind of have like a local band do an acoustic set opening for him to kind of, you know, help everybody out and make it a more successful show.
Sure.
Well, he was having some trouble connecting some of the dots there, and he asked about Laser Flames, and we weren't able to do it. And I got off the phone with him, and I was just thinking, I got in the shower, and I was like, oh man, you know, this is a great opportunity for some band or some group or some artist, you know, to play these shows and to do that. And I was like, who could do it? You know, like who in town could do that would bring folks out? And then I was like, well, shit, what if I just did this with Scott and, you know, we did it together as a duo, and then that would help connect some of the dots, because it's not just Scott, it's like Scott and this other person from Wake, you know, like we kind of would double it up a little bit. And also, you know, it would help Scott. He wouldn't be driving the whole time either, so it would be easier for him instead of just being one guy in a car driving around. So I had that in the shower. I got out of the shower and called CT immediately, and he was like, "Yes." He's like, "I was thinking the same thing, but yeah, let's see what's going on." And then like within 30 minutes, he was like, "Yeah, Scott's cool with it. I'll get back to you with dates."
Cool.
And that was it, man. I mean, it was as simple as just kind of seeing a window there to help out and to also be able to explore this side of myself musically.
Yeah.
And,
fuck yeah, man.
Ride around with Scott for a while.
That's awesome, man. That's great.
Yeah,
that's like an accumulation of experience and time put in, and it's like a puzzle piece, just like boom, put that right there. And yeah, now, and even this, it's cool that this could tie into you eventually releasing your solo album, right? Like this sort of
I hope so. Yeah.
practice in a performance like that.
Yeah, and the whole lap steel situation. I've always loved that sound, lap steel and pedal steel. Such an emotional sound. It's something that I was in this kind of hard rock, kind of metal band called Christine back in the day, and when I joined, the bass player Devin, the bass player singer, was like, "Dude, we want you in the band, but you gotta play lap steel." And I was like, "What?" And I'd never done it before. And he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna make this thing kind of like a bluesy, psychedelic,
right.
big, just loud, noisy machine, and I was like, "Okay." And I bought this small kid's guitar, literally like a child's guitar. It was called B.A. Star, was what it had on headstock. I removed the dots in between the B and the A, and I put a D at the end of it, so it was the bastard. It was kind of like, and I put a bunch of like, I probably has a bunch of Torch stickers and Slayer stickers. I just, it was like this light blue kid color, but I put a raised nut on it to raise the strings up. And because with lap steel, you use a bar for it, so you have to have distance between the fretboard and the strings itself in order to be able to perform it properly. And it was pretty much just like tune it to an open tuning, usually open D, throw it through a bunch of distortion and reverb and delay pedals, and just making a bunch of nasty noise. And then that led to me joining this like folk Americana group, because I really loved the sound of it, and I was like, man, I want to do more than just make a bunch of racket with it. And I joined this folk group in Murfreesboro called the Hard and Draw, and it was like, all right, man, you can't be loose and easy with this thing now. You got to learn to play it tight, learn to know when to speak and when to back off, and treat it really, really delicately. And so I did that for 2 or 3 years, and then it was like nothing. And I've always wanted to use it more, as a more focused piece of my musical life, And so the Scott thing was perfect. I even used it in Wake a couple of times for some live shows, but I just, I feel it's underused in this genre. I mean, there's a Cult of Luna song on the album Beyond. I think it's called Circle.
Okay.
And they use it in a song. And when I heard that, man, I would just listen to the front of that song over and over again just for that part. It was just gorgeous. It might even be a pedal steel on that song.
What is it called?
But it sounded beautiful.
I'm gonna check it out after we're done. This Cult of Luna. What's the
Cult
song
of
called?
Luna.
Circle.
Cult of Luna. I believe the song's called Circle. It's on the album The Beyond. I may have those two things mixed up. It might be the Beyond on the album Circle, but
I'm sure I could
I'm
just
not
Google
sure.
it.
But the beginning of that, it'll come up. Yeah, but it's beautiful, and it's a way that whenever I play and approach, like I kind of think of how they do that, and I've always liked that part.
Man, that's awesome. Man, I don't know. I do these actually about this long, and I think we could keep going, but I have to always be aware of your time and my time, and but I wanted to play something off of the stuff you're doing with Scott Kelly. Now, in looking at it, I found a live 7-inch that I just wrote it down. My Proud Mountain put out, this label from Germany. Is that something cool we could play? Like I put it in after the fact, or would you have a suggestion
Yeah.
of something? Or
No, that's fine. That's the only release that we have.
okay,
Yeah. So that'd probably be best. Of course, there's plenty of YouTube clips and stuff. That was recorded the next to last night in Little Rock.
oh okay,
And it just goes to show, like, CT booked that particular show, and it was the night before Nashville, and we knew that the Little Rock show and the Nashville show would be the better shows of the whole tour, even though the U.S. tour was great in general. But those two were kind of, because Neurosis to Little Rock is the Bible, and as it should be, and so many people were out that night, and there's a couple of really good artists. Jeff from Rwake, the drummer, and he's kind of like the lead songwriter for the band. His acoustic project, he did that.
okay, cool.
Opened up for us that evening, and it was amazing. And then a guy named Adam Fawcett, who is phenomenal voice, phenomenal songwriter, great guitar player. He played, so the house was packed. It was great. So we were lucky to get a good recording off the board that night.
Oh, cool.
And just kind of mastered it. Had Mikey Allred of Dark Art Audio, who's done like everything Inner Arma's ever put out. He records, and then all the Yautja stuff he records. He's fantastic. He's a good friend of mine too.
Cool.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, he did the mastering on that. So yeah, it's kind of like it was after the fact, because we didn't go into it thinking that. We just knew that the guy had recorded off the board. So we needed something, something to throw out in Europe, and it was great. It was a success. We sold out pretty quick of those. I had to hoard a few to bring them back to some friends in Murfreesboro, Nashville.
What I guess I'll put it in, then I'll ask a few more questions. I'll do it after I edit it, so you don't have to hear the song. We have to sit here. But I'm gonna play "We Let the Hell Come Home" off this live 7-inch released by Proud Mountain. I think online said there was one copy left, but I don't know. Sounds like there's no copies left.
There might be. Who knows? Go to Discogs. Might be able to find something.
So I'll put that right here.
The blade of the reaper suspending the eye, in the reverence all dues in the crossing, feed the soul, drowning in the breach. Watch her breathe light in the sun. Death brings the rain to the river, and I walk from the shore waiting. The stones in the river bring hell to the heart of those of us left in our shells. Watch in the sun. All the truth was denied. We will fall in the sun. In the depths of our run. We let the hell come. We let the hell come.
And that was that with the magic of editing. What do you guys have next? I guess what's next for you, even just musically? Like, I know you're busy with the store, but anything coming soon, or?
Yeah, I have a couple of tours coming up in July. I'm doing a East Coast run. We're going up to Toronto, actually, for one of the shows. But for Wake, we're doing Magnetic Eyes, doing a Volume 4 Black Sabbath tribute record.
Cool.
Magnetic Eye Records. And we're going to be on an accompanying record. Like, it's going to be like a 2-record thing.
Okay.
So we're doing like just a Volume 4, and then the second record is a best of.
Okay.
And we're doing a Black Sabbath, The Writ. And then after that, I mean, for Wake, I do feel we've got most of a record, actually written.
Okay.
Jeff, like I said, Jeff's the drummer and the songwriter for the band. But mostly, he's got so much written, 5 or 6 songs that are all but nailed down. And CT's got a lot of lyrics ready. It's just, I live in Nashville, and Reed, the bass player, he lives in Cincinnati. He's also in The Obsessed, and he's the guitar tech for COC. So he stays busy too. So we're it's about finding that time, but yeah, it's really just about like, okay, everybody, who's got this week open, and we plan that out. We go down, we knock it out, and that's it. But I'm always looking forward. always look forward to going down there and jamming with those guys.
Well, it's awesome, man. You're still busy, still putting stuff out, still involved. Like, you know, man, it's crazy. We just met so quick, but it's a thing of there's such a kinship in meeting people who care about it and who still do it, and it's a fuel to keep doing it. So yeah, man, everyone's busy, and I really fucking appreciate you taking the time, dude. Like, this is the longest we've talked, but it's been like as if we're like high school buddies, which is awesome.
Oh man, oh absolutely, man, and the work that you're doing with the podcast, I mean, it can't be overstated how important that is to kind of keep getting folks out from your life experiences that you play music with, and giving them an opportunity to tell a bit of the story, and you showing, you know, interest and respect, and hopefully finding other folks that are going to show that interest and respect at the same time, you know, turning somebody else on to this stuff. And I appreciate it, man. I've been thumbs up since the day you asked me to do it, and I listen to some of them too, man.
Cool.
I love it. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's
man.
fun,
and I'm more than welcome. Yeah, and I'd love to do it any other time, man. If I, you know, finally get a solo record out, I can come on. And talk some shit about that.
Hell yeah, man. John, man, really, man. Thank you, man. Thanks so much.
Absolutely, man. It's my pleasure, brother.
Yeah, we'll maybe see each other soon, and until then, I don't know. I'll just tell Mark you say hi.
Yeah, please do. Tell him, you know, here's the high five right there. really high high five, man. Yeah.
Highest high five. All right, awesome, brother. Thank you, man.
Rock and roll, man. You bet. Cheers. Have a good day.
Cheers, buddy. Awesome. Yeah, John, man, fucking crazy talented guy. That's a crazy thing about this podcast. Not crazy thing. Just the talent that people have, you know, that accumulate, that just, it's a passion fueled talent, which is just beautiful. Not to get too deep on it, but yeah, John's awesome. Check out his bands. Hopefully you dug the record, the music I played. Let me just close this off with the sponsors. We have Brewed Biscuits, the all-natural spent grain pet treat company, 2spentgrains.ca, TWO, spentgrains.ca for your all-natural pet treats. Heartbeat Hot Sauce, heartbeathotsauce.com for the delicious hot sauce. If you haven't tried it, you're crazy because it's delicious. Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota, 3121 on King Street East in Kitchener. He's the best dude. He's a car salesman. Trust him. Love him. Show him some love. Ironcladgraphics.com for your silk screening needs. They ship coast to coast. They're competitive. They make your merch. Dapperbeardoil.com. Get your beard oil. Save on shipping. Free use promo code TakerWide, free ship. And wellingtonbrewery.ca for the beers. I have the shirts. If you guys want to order those, go to takerwide.com. You can find the links to the Big Cartel I have. Shirts designed by Sean Arsenian, a.k.a. Wormzilla. I have patches and pins and stickers. The Instagram is Takerwide Podcast. Facebook, if you haven't liked it, like it. Leave a review, rate it, tell a friend about the show. It's really fun to do. And I don't think I have anything else really to say. Maybe I missed some stuff. Maybe I didn't. But yeah, it's the Taker Wide. I'll see you guys next Monday. Have a good week. And yeah, love you. Peace. Oh, shit. Wrong computer. Peace.